Over the last year, we have made incredible progress and achieved extraordinary success. We have faced challenges we expected and others we could never have imagined. We have shared in the heights of victory and the pains of hardship. We have endured floods and fires and storms. But through it all, we have seen the beauty of America's soul and the steel in America's spine. Each test has forged new American heroes to remind us who we are and show us what we can be. We saw the volunteers of the Cajun Navy racing to the rescue with their fishing boats to save people in the aftermath of a totally devastating hurricane. We saw strangers shielding strangers from a hail of gunfire on the Las Vegas Strip. We heard tales of Americans like Coast Guard Petty Officer Ashley Leopard, who is here tonight in the gallery with Melania.
Truth Seeker. Here's my response to the State of the Union. This is the beginning of his speech. He's opening up with the flood that the United States of America endured and the act of terrorism, October 1st in Las Vegas. This is the State of the Union. These two events and the fact that they were manufactured by our own government, by our own military. You know, if you doubt this, it's too bad. It means you've missed out on my work. I showed with how the manufactured flood in Texas and the fires set in California, it ensured an Astros-Dodgers World Series, and the Astros would beat the Dodgers. This is the State of the Union. You live in a nation of contrived bullshit and tyranny and terror every single day that is the work of this government that we pay for. This is the State of the Union. You know, simple-minded Americans can't see the obvious. And the things being done to us, you know, they're too big for most people's brains to wrap around. It's been admitted since 1952. 52. We're in 2018. 66 years later. But since 1952, it's been admitted that world militaries know how to induce flash flooding, how to enhance storms, all from chemistry, putting chemicals in the sky. In Vietnam, the United States called it cloud seeding, creating continual rainfall on Vietnamese troops who were relying on their feet. They would soak the jungles, they would flood out their underground tunnels, all with manufactured weather. Vietnam. The United States of America is not a country, it's a corporation. Its people aren't citizens. They're cogs in a machine. That's us. We're raised, we're farmed. We're taught to have these American values. To learn to grow up, get a job, and pay taxes. And shut up and do what you're told. This is the State of the Union. When they caused that flood in Houston, I showed how the bullshit in the news. That woman saying she didn't lose her house so she felt like she won the World Series. How that was all foreshadowing what was to come. Matt Harvey, the first pitcher to pitch in Houston after Hurricane Harvey. And people don't even blink an eye at it. They just call it coincidence. Showed how that was 52 days before the start of the World Series. The word flood equals 52. The word hurricane equals 52. So does the word government. So does the word authority. So does the word Kabbalah. Kabbalah is where this code comes from, letters and numbers and dates on the calendar and doing things ritualistically this way. You know, I've been teaching about this stuff for years. Now what do I do month after month? Call the news and the sports before they happen. College and pro. How about that false flag in Las Vegas carried out by your government? What did I tell you all year? All year, how many times did I warn about that weekend? Said look for the biggest false flag since 9/11. Yom Kippur weekend. Day of judgment for your sins. Day of atonement for your sins. Yom Kippur weekend, what do we get? We get a false flag, the biggest since 9/11 in Sin City. You know? Perfectly synced with Yom Kippur, what I've been talking about all year and why this year Yom Kippur mattered. What was different about it this year than other years. This is how your nation operates. This is the State of the Union. Nation that mocks you. Nation that uses knowledge going back to Babylon to contrive terror from weather to gunfire. You know? Nation that always wants to rule over you with fear and control and promote the military. See how it goes to the military lady right away? And it's also, you know, look, no slight against women, but typically when you think of the military, you think of men. Notice what it is this year. The first tranny politician. You know, we got this woman military lady. We got Donald Trump, the pussy grabber. Now everyone in Hollywood, even doctors in the Olympics, everyone's been abusing women. Now that the face of the nation's a woman abuser. This is all a narrative too. All part of the mocking. But just look, they go to the military. It's the military that's responsible for what happened in Houston. That doesn't mean it's everyone who's in the military that's responsible. But all of you in the military are the most ignorant people. Who's signing up to be a New World Order mercenary in 2018? You know, that's what's wrong with America. This is the State of the Union, the level of ignorance, the level of apathy, the level of gullibility. You know, how can people not see through this nation yet? 9/11 should have woke everybody up. It didn't. A lot of things should wake people up. Boston Marathon bombing, Sandy Hook, abnormal weather, freezing all over the South. It's the State of the Union. People are asleep. The Apprentice is the president. The Apprentice is the president. The Apprentice is given the State of the Union. Mr. You're fired. Comey got fired by the comb-over, by the Apprentice Code. If you missed it, should have been here. Better late than never. So anyway, this is the real State of the Union. People got to wake up to what the nation's really about, what's really going on, the weather warfare, the false flags, the rigged elections, the mockery, the code. It's the only way things are going to get better. Until next time, Truth Seeker.